Welcome back. Okay, so today we're stepping right into the fascinating world of psychology to unravel a genuine mystery, one that's actually rooted in Carl Jung's theory of personality. We're looking at a specific psychological profile that is so uncommon, it honestly feels a bit like a myth. But the data tells us it's very real. So, together, let's decode the INFJ, widely considered to be the world's rarest personality type. I want you to start by holding up a bit of a self-assessment mirror and asking yourself this exact question. Have you ever felt like you just don't belong? Like you're somehow operating on an entirely different frequency than the rest of the room? If you've spent a good chunk of your life feeling like an outsider looking in, or wondering why your mind seems to process the world completely differently from your friends, your family, or your coworkers, well, this explainer might just hold the key to understanding exactly who you are. Okay, let's dive into this because the statistics here are absolutely wild. Out of all 16 Myers-Briggs personality types, the INFJ makes up less than 2% of the global population. I mean, think about that for a second. If you're standing in a room of 50 people, chances are you might be the only single person in there with this specific cognitive wiring. It is incredibly rare. So what does this acronym actually stand for? Right. So INFJ breaks down into introversion, intuition, feeling, and judgment. People with this unique cognitive wiring are highly regarded for their incredibly warm empathy. They possess these extremely keen insights into human behavior, and they just have this remarkable, deep understanding of human potential. They don't just see what's happening in front of them, they literally see what could be. Now, before we go any further, we definitely need to establish a quick scientific baseline. The Myers-Briggs type inventory is a theoretical framework of rough tendencies, not strict classifications. We aren't talking about rigid scientific rules that lock you into some inescapable box. Think of this more as a map to guide our understanding of your mind's landscape rather than a permanent label. Sign number 1, a different wavelength. Take a quick second to reflect on your own thought processes here. Do you often feel like an outsider? Because this personality type is largely driven by dominant intuition, their brains are constantly making these massive leaps in logic behind the scenes, instantly connecting dots that other people don't even realize are there. And because so much of that rapid mental processing is totally invisible to everyone else, the result is often a profound feeling of isolation. You feel deeply misunderstood. You know you have the right answer, you feel it entirely in your bones, but you just find it nearly impossible to articulate to other people how you actually arrived at that conclusion. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it highlights a core frustration. Explaining how you know things is very difficult. For an INFJ, dominant intuition generates this powerful, unexplainable gut feeling. It just works silently in the background of your mind all the time. You just know things without needing obvious proof. But when society demands that you show your work or perfectly explain your reasoning, it becomes incredibly frustrating, which obviously only magnifies that feeling of being an outsider. Moving on to sign number 2, perfectionism and procrastination. Be brutally honest with yourself here. Do you have an overwhelming fear of failure? For an INFJ, it's rarely just about getting the job done or simply succeeding. They feel this intense, burning need to be absolutely perfect. They want to go far above and beyond to completely exceed everyone's expectations. For you, good is almost never good enough. You want the gold star, the parade, the flawless victory. So the crucial point is, this creates a massive psychological trap. Step 1, you have this intense desire to perform at absolute perfection. But because your standard is set impossibly high, step 2 kicks in. You feel totally overwhelmed. The task suddenly feels way too big to tackle, and that leads directly into step 3, procrastination. You put the whole thing off because the pressure to be flawless is simply too exhausting to confront right away. It's a surprising paradox for sure, but it's a massive indicator of this personality type. All right, sign number 3, highly perceptive. Ask yourself this. Do you easily decode the hidden motivations of the people around you? Can you walk into a gathering and just instantly sense the emotional temperature of the room without anyone saying a single word? That right there is a true superpower and a hallmark of the INFJ. And this brilliantly illustrates how the INFJ mind works. You rely heavily on your intuition to reach way deeper than just the surface level. You aren't just looking at what a person does. You're deeply intrigued by how other people's minds actually work, what truly drives them, and what makes everyone completely unique. It's a constant contrast in how you view the world. Most people out there just observe side A, surface-level actions, like a coworker snapping at a meeting. Most people think, what did that person say? What did they do?
But the highly perceptive INFJ is constantly seeking out side B, those deep underlying motivations. Instead of just seeing the anger, you use your intuition to sense the hidden insecurities, maybe the past traumas, or the invisible stress driving that outburst that literally everyone else completely misses.
Let's move to and see how this builds into sign number 4, small, loyal circles. Pointing directly to this stark visual contrast, an INFJ might actually know a lot of people. You might have a massive slice of acquaintances, people you're friendly with, people you work with. But true friends, that is a tiny, incredibly restricted sliver. You do not let just anyone into your inner circle. However, if someone is lucky enough to be allowed into that tiny sliver of true friends, they are going to receive unwavering devotion. Within that extremely small circle, the INFJ is going to remain steadfast and deeply loyal for years, sometimes decades to come. You invest absolutely everything you have into those select few.
So why is that circle kept so small? Well, your strong intuition makes you highly selective. You use it like a radar to quickly find side A, people who truly share your deep values. And at the same time, you can instantly spot side B, people who are just being fake. Because you value authenticity so highly, if someone breaks that trust, an INFJ can be surprisingly quick to just cast them aside and cut ties simply to protect your own emotional energy.
And that brings us to our conclusion, embracing your INFJ traits. We've covered the feeling of being on a totally different wavelength, the perfectionism trap, your highly perceptive nature, and those fiercely guarded inner circles. If these 4 signs resonated with you today, you might just be part of that rare 2%. It's a profile defined by beautiful strengths, warm empathy, keen insights, deep loyalty, and being highly perceptive. These are incredible gifts. And it's so important to remember that while you might feel a bit misunderstood by the broader world, your family and your true friends heavily appreciate you for these exact traits. You see the good in people, and you care deeply about how your actions affect others. So I want to end this explainer with a thought-provoking question for you. You don't need obvious proof to validate what your intuition tells you, and you certainly don't need to apologize for operating on a different wavelength. The world desperately needs people who look deeper. So will you fully embrace your unique strengths, and yes, your weaknesses too, to live a truly happy, authentic